GTA Online businesses, which are the best, which are the worst? We're gonna have it all in today's video. First one we're gonna be calling in through the interaction menu, and that is going to be the Kosatka submarine. This is the home of the best heist in the game, the Cayo Perico heist. If you want to play this game simply, honestly, you would literally just save up $2.2 million to buy a Kosatka and then just ongoingly do the Cayo Perico heist like once per day roughly. You get the hang of it pretty quick, so it should take about an hour to an hour and a half to complete each one, and you can make more or less $1.3 million in each heist doing it completely solo, so it's really worth it. Going up to the screen in the middle of the submarine and then just starting it up for 100k. You first fly over to the island and scope out some key points. After that, you do a couple of setups in Los Santos, and then you have the finale, which should only take about 15 minutes. You can become an expert really quick with it, and once you save up enough money, you can actually add the extension helicopter to the Kosatka. I just shattered the window somehow. How the frick did that just happen? The Sparrow helicopter is the fastest helicopter in the game, and it's a lot of people's go-to vehicle for getting around the map. It's actually faster than a lot of planes as well. It's got the homing missiles, as you can see. It's got the flare countermeasures, so if someone locks onto you, you can literally just redirect the rockets to hit the flares instead. The Kosatka is hands down one of the, if not the best money-making property in the game, so highly recommend it. Another business which is also a vehicle at the same time like the Kosatka is the Acid Lab. You actually get it through doing the first dose missions, which you unlock the Freakshop through, so basically you get this property after going to the R icon in Sandy Shores. I guess I'll mention the Freakshop as a whole. So the Freakshop has the Acid Lab, which is inside of the Brickade 6x6, which we'll take a look at here in a second. It's a super powerful vehicle. It's a super heavy vehicle. I honestly just love driving this around and ramming cars out the way, but in the back of it, we do have the Acid Lab business. Filling it up with product to the max can get you a good couple $100,000, so definitely recommend. I really do not pay enough attention to this business, but it's one of the best starter businesses. I would say it's not that great for veterans. I think there's better options. To source supplies, you just go over to this corner, press right D-pad, and that's going to start a supply mission. I'm not actually going to go and do it, although if you do it, the Sparrow helicopter is going to really help you out. This helicopter can honestly help you out with so many different types of missions and make them way faster. Another part of the Freakshop business is having Dax as a contact on your phone, and once you call him, you can actually request work, and that's going to start up a Fooligan mission, which I believe you get $50,000 from doing. So I believe it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to complete, which is a decent time. It's one of my favorite quick missions to do in the game. That is the Freakshop business. Highly recommend doing it. It's also a great business for starters, I would say. The Terrorbyte is also technically a business. It's actually the home of the Oppressor Mark II, so if you have an Oppressor Mark II, you have to have the Terrorbyte as well. I personally like doing client jobs, especially when they're on bonus. You can make a good amount of money. Diamond Shopping and Robbery in Progress are my two favorite ones personally. Nothing too in-depth into that business, but you can start some missions through there as well. Same with the Mobile Operations Center, which also has a touchscreen inside of it. Let's go and take a look. There's different bays inside of the back of this thing, which are actually pretty sick. So if we go into the Mobile Operations screen, these are special vehicle missions, which are honestly pretty fun. I mean, this one has the cargo plane, which you rarely ever see in GTA Online. These have the Oppressor Mark I. This one has the weaponized Tampa. This one's the actual MOC. There's a lot of cool special vehicles, which if you don't have them, these missions actually let you have a go with them. This one isn't exactly a business, but I do feel like it's actually worth mentioning. So this is actually a free heist you can start without owning any actual business. How the frick did I just get the cops on me? What in the world did I just do? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I was literally just standing in the circle and then I started getting shot. What in the world just happened? Well, now I got my oppressor impounded. But anyway, if you go to the V icon in the police station, at the police station on the left side of the city, you can start the Cluckenbell Farm Raid. There's 5 setups and then a very short finale. In total, this should take about an hour to complete. It's very easy, and you get a set payout of $500,000. Now moving on to one of the main businesses in GTA 5 Online, and that is the CEO office. Now with the CEO office, there's 3 main ways of making money, and I would say 2 actual businesses inside of here. So if we go in the CEO office computer, as you can see, we have a bunch of money laying around, which is actually really sick looking. We have special vehicle work, which is very similar to the MOC missions. Basically, they're just with different vehicles like the ramp buggy or the Phantom Wedge, but special cargo and vehicle cargo are the 2 main businesses. So you actually have to buy a warehouse for each of these. You can choose the size of the warehouse for special cargo, so there's small, medium, and large depending depending on how hard you actually want to go and grind this business. Depends which size warehouse you have, but they're gonna look something like this. A lot of people like to make it a habit to just come here, source cargo, so you go up to Lupe, which is gonna stay next to the cargo crates, and this makes it semi-passive, so instead of you doing it yourself, you actually just hire someone to do it for you. So basically she's gonna get on her way, come back in I believe 48 minutes, and then she's gonna source me 1, 2, or 3 crates. I really don't grind this as much as I should, but this is one of the best businesses in the entire game. If you fill up a full large warehouse, you can get a good few $1,000,000 for it. A lot of people like to fill it up, wait until there's a double money bonus week on CEO special cargo. It usually happens once every couple of months, and then they could sell it for double the price. So far I only have 4 crates for 52,000, which is absolutely nothing, so you can go much harder than I am. The other type of cargo with the CEO office is vehicle cargo, which has a separate warehouse you need to buy from the CEO special cargo. And what you do with this business, instead of sourcing and selling crates, you basically source and sell vehicles. There's different levels of vehicles. I believe there's low range, medium range, and top range. And top range sell for the most. It is randomized what you get when you actually press source, but you are hoping for top range vehicles. This one's also great when it goes on double money, but for some reason I enjoy doing this one much more than the CEO cargo crate. Something's just really fun about stealing vehicles and then just selling them for more profit, and the profit does vary on how damaged the vehicle is, because I believe you do have some NPCs chasing you while doing the missions. To start with the vehicle cargo, you actually have to go in the computer in your CEO office and then press on source vehicle, and again we're hoping for top range, so it's gonna give us a randomized class of vehicle. Let's go outside, then we're gonna get a call from our assistant, and we gotta steal a Zentorno, which I'm pretty sure is a top range vehicle. Oh, never mind, it's actually only a mid-range. How is a supercar a mid-range vehicle? If you have an air vehicle like an oppressor or any type of helicopter, again it's gonna make these missions way easier. Looks like we're gonna have to take out some enemies. Hopefully we don't actually end up shooting the Zentorno itself. We want to make sure we damage it as little as possible, so the repair cost eventually we're gonna actually have to pay for it. Let's try to juke out the police. Never mind, we damaged the car. Gosh dang it. We basically just have to go to a certain location, steal the vehicle, which is usually just gonna be parked somewhere, and then drive it back to the warehouse. When we get to the warehouse, we can actually go in the computer and export it for more money than we spent on this vehicle. Please don't crash into me, cops. And that is the Zentorno delivered. Honestly, $400 in repair costs is not that bad. If it's a few thousand, then that's pretty bad. Now this vehicle is gonna appear in here, and we can actually press export on it. So let's select it, press export, and you always want to do commission offer, the most expensive one, because it is the most worth it. So we're gonna have to modify it for 12,500, but then we're gonna get a payout of 62.5k, which is pretty solid for mid-range. So really it's all about getting lucky, I would say. So we have to remove the tracker. It's gonna give you directions on what to do with the customization of it. After modifying it a little bit, it's actually gonna get us outside. We spent a little bit of money modifying it. Now we have to make sure we don't crash it whatsoever. Oh no, the NPCs are already shooting the vehicle. Look how much freaking money is being taken off. I hate NPCs that sometimes just have aimbot. Like there's nothing we could do to dodge that. Hopefully we can keep it like that. It really depends how many NPCs decide to spawn. We literally have no taillights on this vehicle anymore. That's so annoying. I'm gonna deliver this vehicle in horrible condition, but whatever. I'm getting over 60k for it. I don't care. It's also harder to turn with pop tires. I really should have put bulletproof tires on this thing. I thought I already had them, but I guess not. But that's a good lesson for you guys. If you end up modifying a vehicle like this before exporting it, make sure to put bulletproof tires. It's not actually gonna change the amount you spend. Let's drive into the yellow circle. We lost about $1,000 in market value, which is not terrible. I mean, we couldn't really do anything about the NPCs. Overall solid payout. That's $61,000 right there. The net profit was about $50,000, and that took us just a couple minutes to do. The bail offices, we basically capture bounties and then hand them over to the cops. In my opinion, it's super underrated because doing these daily, you can make a few $100,000. So it's a great daily money method, but this business is very different from, let's say, the Kosatka, which actually just generates you $1 million something after doing a heist for an hour and a half. Now, the bail office does have have a safe which generates passive income. So basically we can go up to the agents and then press right D-pad on them. That's gonna send them on their way, and basically when they come back in 48 minutes, that's gonna generate us passive income through that safe, which then we can go and collect. But the main way of making money with this business is through the bounty hunts in the computer. The high demand bounty is the best one to do by far. As you can see, it does pay by far the most. It's gonna pay about $130,000 usually, and you can do one of these every 24 hours. So that's why I think this is such a good daily money making business. So I'm gonna do the high demand one, although you can do all 4 of these. The countdown for the regular bounties is shorter, so you can do them, I believe, once every 48 minutes for each of these bounties, which is pretty good. The nice thing is you can do these completely solo, or you can actually get some friends in, which is gonna make it a little bit easier. Regardless, we should be able to make 121,000 in just about 10 minutes. There's 2 signal jammers we need to go to and destroy, so luckily I could just destroy it from here. Don't even have to shoot any NPCs before doing that. So now we're gonna go to signal jammer B, and by the way, you get the same payout no matter how many times you restart. So if you do end up dying, it doesn't really matter all that much. Throw a sticky bomb and hopefully that's gonna blow it up. Yep. All right, cool. It's nice that you don't actually have to take out all the NPCs before you actually destroy the signal jammers. Brock Thompson is gonna be inside of that mule custom, and he's gonna be inside of a juggernaut suit, even though usually the targets don't have a juggernaut suit. Now the mule custom is actually stopped. The driver of it is gonna get out. We could just take him out, and then he's gonna be in a juggernaut suit, and we have to shoot him enough, and then he's actually gonna surrender. After we take out the rest of the bodyguards, we are basically good to go. So just get his health down to in between 0 and that black mark that you see on there. Then we could just go up to him and press right D-pad to secure Brock Thompson. We're gonna put him in the back of the van, drive him back to the bail office, and then we are basically done. Once we get him in the cell in the bail office, there's a certain processing time we have to wait for, and once that time is up, then the cops come and get him, and we actually get the payout for this bounty. Meanwhile, the bounties are just gonna be staying in this cell until further notice. And pro tip, when starting the bounty hunts, you don't actually have to get inside of the bail enforcement van. If you have an oppressor or a helicopter that spawn next to you, you can actually just use those, because once you capture the bounty, it's gonna automatically spawn in the bail enforcement van. So I really should have done that, and that would have made it a bit quicker. So just so you guys know for next time. Next business is going to be the Salvage Yard. This is also one of the newest businesses in the game, and there's a couple different parts to this business. The first one is the tow truck service. You basically just tow vehicles and bring them back to this business, and you can make about $30,000 to $50,000 by doing those missions, and they usually take just a couple minutes, so it's a decent quick money method. And if you do a certain amount of those tow truck missions, you can actually increase the passive income through the wall safe, which is right over here. And I believe the max rate you can actually get for this passive income safe is 20 something thousand dollars a day, which is pretty solid, but you do have to complete a good amount of tow truck service missions. Now the main way of making money in the Salvage Yard is through the vehicle robbery missions, which do give you about a few $100,000, and I believe Rockstar refreshes this list every week or so, so there's gonna be a different set of vehicles each week. It's got some scoping out to do and a little bit of prep missions, and then you actually get the vehicle, return it to this place, and eventually you are able to sell it. It's a cool business, but honestly, to buy this thing, it is pretty freaking expensive. It could run you about $4 to $5 million, which is a bit overpriced if you ask me, but if you do have a lot of money, it is a pretty fun business to grind. The agency is arguably the best money-making business in the entire game, just because of the variety of different ways you can make money with it. It's much more worth it to buy an agency than a Salvage Yard, for example. It's only gonna run you about $1 million to a few million. The first way of making money can actually affect the passive income, so there's also a wall safe inside of the agency. To this day, this is one of my favorite quick money methods to do in GTA Online. It should only take a couple of minutes to complete, and you can make anywhere from $30,000 all the way up to $70,000, depending on the random difficulty that it gets you, depending on the session you're in. There's also the VIP contract, which is the Dr. Dre heist. Basically, it's got a good amount of setups, and after about an hour and a half of doing the setups and the finale, it's gonna give you a set payout of $1 million. Another method is calling Franklin while you're outside and requesting payphone hits, which pay about $45,000, which isn't nearly as good as they used to be. They used to pay about $85,000, which is way better, but unfortunately Rockstar did nerf them, so not the greatest money method. The Nightclub is one of the must-have businesses in GTA Online, mainly for the passive income that you can get with it. Let me actually go in passive mode to trigger a troublemaker to spawn in. If you go in passive mode, it's gonna trigger trigger a blue dot to spawn on the map, which is actually a quick money method we could do, plus it increases the popularity bar, and as long as we have that popularity bar full, we can actually make 50k per day, per in-game day from that wall safe. So all I'm gonna do is just go up to the troublemaker, press right D-pad, and that's basically gonna throw him at the club, and then we made a quick $10,000 plus the popularity just got increased. As you can see, it fully filled it up. I have 100k to collect from that wall safe, but honestly it goes up to 250,000, so the capacity is 250k. I recommend going in collecting the money pretty often. When we go into any computer in the nightclub, let me just show you how much money I've made from passive income through the nightclub, because that's really the only way I make money in the nightclub. There is actually an active money making method, which we'll talk about here in a second. So over $16 million earned in the nightclub, which isn't even all that much. That's the crazy part. There's people that have made way more than 16 million, so the nightclub is OP. Besides kicking out troublemakers and returning VIPs home, which is also another way you can up your popularity, the main way of upping the popularity is by rebooking DJs. At first it's going to be more expensive to actually get that DJ, but once you have just two, which is pretty much all you need, because you could just reassign those two instead of buying all four, it's only going to cost 10k to rebook the DJ, and each time you do that, that's going to increase the popularity by half a bar. The more active money making side of the nightclub is in the sell goods tab, and these are basically small businesses that you can own through the motorcycle club. I honestly never bothered to do these because I'm really not big on the motorcycle clubhouse businesses. They're just small businesses that don't make you a whole lot of money. The only reasons I have a motorcycle clubhouse is so I have the MC President options in the interaction menu, and just so I have a couple more spaces to store my motorcycles inside of here. It's basically got its own garage, but it has to be motorcycles that you store inside, and these MCs are pretty cheap to get. I mean, they only cost around a few $100,000, but for money making, the MC businesses, in my opinion, are not that great. The auto shop is a really cool property to own, but business wise, it's not as great. It's got 10 car slots, and honestly, this is one of the coolest looking garages in the game, and it's got a built-in vehicle workshop as well. Now, the first way of making money with this place is to actually do the vehicle delivery mission. You basically modify a customer's vehicle and deliver it to their house. You can make a couple $10,000 using this money method, but the main way of making money is through the job board inside of the auto shop. So I like to think of these as mini heists. They're basically called auto shop contracts, but they're pretty much mini heists. You have two setup missions and then the finale. In hindsight, this is a really good money method, but the missions themselves are pretty annoying. I mean, you have to do a ton of driving in these missions, and you have to hear KDJ and Sasanta rambling on the phone for so freaking long. That's why I think those mini heists are a little annoying to do in my opinion, but feel free to give them a go. This might surprise you, but high-end apartments are also a type of business in GTA Online. They are the home of the original heists. The newer heists are much better in terms of the payout, but the storyline for some of these heists are actually super cool, so I would recommend doing them only for fun, less for as a good money method. The prison break heist is very cool. The Humane Labs raid is pretty cool. The Pacific Standard job. The arcade is another business in GTA Online, and the main way of making money with it is through one of the best heists in the game, the Diamond Casino heist. It's got this super cool 3D model of the entire Diamond Casino. There's a good amount of setup missions, and then finally you go inside of the casino, break into the safe, steal a bunch of cash and maybe some other loot. One of my favorites in the game and one of the best paying ones as well. The bunker is one of the best and one of my favorite businesses in GTA Online. There's both a long-term money method and a quick money method you can do. At the entrance of the bunker, you're gonna see this ammunition truck. All you have to do is go up to it and actually deliver it. Press right D-pad and hopefully we get a close location. The delivery point is gonna be randomized, so let's see what we got. This one's gonna be in Polito Bay, which is not too far, but it's also not close, so all I'm gonna do is just blow up the delivery truck. Once it is destroyed, we could just run back in the bunker and try it again. So if you're unsatisfied with the delivery point, you could just restart over and over and over again. It could be much closer, but I'm just gonna take this one. It's only gonna take a few minutes to get there anyways. You might get a few NPCs chasing you, which honestly don't do a whole lot of damage, so you can easily blow them up with a sticky bomb on the way. For some reason, they're not even spawning on the way to this delivery point. I have no idea why. And in just over 2 minutes, we managed to reach the ammunition store, and that is the mission done. Extremely easy, $50,000. Only took us just over 2 minutes. 50k contract is complete. So awesome quick money method in the bunker right there. Now let's move on to the long-term money method inside of the bunker. bunker. So going inside of this laptop, this is actually a very similar business to the CEO special cargo. It's the exact same idea with sourcing or stealing supplies, and then you basically just sell that product afterwards for a good amount of money. After getting enough product, you could actually sell it in two different ways: either get an easier mission and a closer drop-off point to Blaine County, or deliver it to Los Santos, which does give you more money, but it's a little bit more difficult. Through the bunker, you also get the research tab, which unlocks you special weapons and Mark II variants. It's actually a must because you have important weapons like the Oppressor missiles. So if you want to get missiles on the Oppressor, you actually have to unlock it through this research, which you do have to spend a good amount of time and money on. The facility is the home of 3 different big heists, and those are the Doomsday heists. Now, these heists are a bit complicated and probably the longest heist in the entire game. This property is actually very large, so getting from one side to another actually takes a good amount of time, so I'm just gonna spawn inside of there. So going in the heist room, we have this huge curved screen right here with a lot of different setups. This one's very high tech, and you do need some experienced players to do this one. So if you want to buy the facility, it is a really cool property, but it's definitely more for veteran players. Don't get me wrong, it's one of the most fun heists in the game, the Doomsday heist, but they are, again, for veteran players. Those are all of the businesses I wanted to go over in GTA Online. Did I miss any? I don't think I did, but if I did, comment down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you're new for more awesome videos like these that you do not want to miss. Click the video on screen now for the must-have things every millionaire should own in GTA Online. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.